This is the Fantasy Roadshow.
Welcome into another episode of the Fantasy Roadshow with your boys here. You can call me Truck, and I'm joined, as always, by the infamous Shane O'Mac. And today is a very special day. Today we're talking my guys. Last episode we talked about some bust. Quite the opposite this week. Shane O'Mac, I hope you're ready to talk about your my guys, because I got a good list here. I hope we have the same thought process when fantasy comes. So I'm hoping we don't have the same guys on our list, but we'll see how it goes. But thank you for clicking on the video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow us on social media, follow the Substack, thefantasyroadshow.substack.com, and get all the fun articles that Shane puts out. Shane, how you doing?
Good. This is probably my favorite episode to do all year. I like doing the rankings and the bust, but like my guys is my favorite. And I think, we talked before we went on, like, hey, should we talk about who we've got or go in blind? And I said, let's go in blind. And anybody listening to this, like, if we end up with the same guys, that just reinforces, definitely go after these guys.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to plant your flag. And I'm assuming we probably have one or two. I'm going to go on a limb and say we have one or two, but we'll see. I hope not. Let's get right into it. Cut to the chase. Shane, give me your first my guy.
So my first is, and I want to preface this with my guy does not always have to be a middle or late round guy that gets pop. Last year, one of my guys was Derrick Henry, and it was on the premise of people were drafting him in round 2. I thought it was a guy you could draft in round 1. So that's just an example of it. It can still be an early draft pick guy. And for me this year, that type of pick is Chase Brown. His ADP has climbed. It was in the 3rd round. It's now early 3rd, but probably more 2nd round type of thing. I'm taking him at the 1-2 turn now. I'm taking him ahead of players like HN over guys like Jonathan Taylor, and I'm getting close to putting him up above Derrick Henry also. There's just a lot of things I like. When he took over that role from like week 9 to 17, I think he was the RB3 and PPR points per game. He was getting, over 85% snap count. He was getting over 23 touches a game. Everything is back. We get T. Higgins and Chase back, so he's not going to face a lot of loaded boxes. He gets receiving work. I just think a lot is set up that this guy has the potential to be the guy who could challenge as the RB1 that people aren't talking about as the RB1.
You're absolutely onto something there, Shane, because I have Chase Brown as my one of my guys as well, which I think it's going to be a common theme with the majority of this fantasy community. I feel like everybody's high on Chase Brown. That's why his ADP is on the rise. But you're spitting facts here, Shane. I'm right on board with you. I want to have Chase Brown on every single fantasy team. He's entering his prime, age 25, 26. He's on the most productive offense in the NFL. Look, I mean, the coach already stated that he's going to be a focal point of this offense, right? Literally everything is pointing to this guy having a massive season. So I ask you, what could possibly go wrong, right? I mean, this guy's going to be a stud. I am taking him above guys like you said, Jonathan Taylor, Devon Achane, Bucky Irving, Kyron Williams. In that 2nd round, he's like one of my favorite picks. So I'm all on board there with you. Just starting off the show with the same my guys. So we'll see how the rest of this goes. But I'll go ahead and pick one that I know you don't have. Okay, even though you probably should. It's a quarterback. And his name's Dak Prescott. Okay. Dak Prescott, he's going as ADP is like 101, kind of round 10. Last year got derailed because of the injury, only played 8 games. But the year before that, Shane, do you remember where he finished?
Oh, he was probably top 5, right?
Quarterback 3.
Yeah.
So quarterback 3, over 4,500 yards, over 35 touchdowns. Look, Dak Prescott's a great fantasy quarterback. And I don't know why he's going so late in drafts. He's going as quarterback 10 in round 10. To me, that's just screaming value. Look, he finally gets a legit wide receiver with George Pickens, a legit number 2 receiver with George Pickens. I think Pickens and CeeDee Lamb are going to be a great combo throughout the year. I think this is going to really open up the offense. Combine that with a really poor rushing attack with Javonte Williams and Miles Sanders and maybe Jadon Blue. But I'm really excited for what Dak Prescott's going to be able to do here. And it's not like I'm looking to get him in every draft. Depending on where I am in the draft order, I'll still maybe take Josh Allen at the end of round 2 if I'm in the early part of the draft, or even Joe Burrow in later rounds in drafts. If I'm have a later pick in like round 5, I'm still targeting those guys. But if I don't get Josh Allen, if I don't get Joe Burrow, I am not leaving a draft without Dak Prescott or Caleb Williams. But that I don't even really need to mention Caleb Williams on my guy. He's automatically my guy every year. But Dak Prescott to me is just a great value, especially in round 10. He's someone I'm targeting if I miss out on those early quarterbacks.
Yeah, like you said, no run game. Defense is not going to be great, so they're going to be behind. 2 things happen when Dak Prescott plays a full season. The Cowboys usually have a pretty good record and make the playoffs, and he is a very viable, top-performing fantasy quarterback. So as long as he stays healthy, he's going to smash his value.
Of course. As long as everybody stays healthy, everybody's going to smash their value. So anyway, Shane, who's your next my guy?
So I'm going here. I'm shaping this up like my fantasy lineup. So in my RB2 slot, I am going with the rookie, and I'm going with Omarion Hampton.
Wow. You just shocked me, Shane. I thought you were going to say a different name when you're talking about a rookie running back.
No.
They're going to go Travion Henderson, but you're going with Omarion Hampton. So tell me
why. Yeah, I think things have – I do like Henderson a lot, obviously, but Hampton is trending up for me, and he's a guy now I'm probably going to take if I need an RB, and I haven't. Maybe if I went wide receiver, I'd be okay with taking Hampton in round 3. I just think like you've got like all the check marks. You've got the talent, the opportunity, the draft capital. He's a 3-down back. He excels in pass protection. Then you've got Najee Harris in this mysterious eye injury that I don't think he's going to end up starting the year playing. Like I wouldn't be surprised if he starts on the PUP list. I don't know what's going on.
There's people out there that aren't even convinced that he still has an eye.
Yeah, it's so bizarre and it's so secretive. I don't know what's going on, but unlike past rookies like Bucky Irving and Jonathan Taylor, where you really needed to wait to the second half of the year for them to explode, I think he could come out of the gate strong. He had 1,500 rush yards and 15 touchdowns in back-to-back years in college. I just think he's got the ability to probably be close to what Ashton Genty is producing, and you're going to get him 2 rounds later.
Yeah, people are predicting that Hampton, like the more news that comes out about Najee not being ready, like Hampton's just going to keep climbing in drafts. Yeah. He's just going to keep going up there. But you're absolutely right. Look, if he starts the season getting the full workload without Najee, there's a chance that Najee comes in and just gets scraps the rest of the year. Like Hampton is that kind of talented of a running back. So I get what you're saying. I really thought you were going to go Travion Henderson. I'm like, part of me is like, oh, do I even want to put down Travion Henderson? No, Shane's going to have him. So I'm going to throw in on the whim here on the fly. Travion Henderson is one of my guys because he needs to be talked about. This guy is still being drafted in the 5th round, which I don't know how. If you're watching any of these preseason games, he looks great on the field. His passing and catching ability is just elite when you're talking about collegiate running backs coming into the NFL. And I just think with this offense in New England, they're on the up and up. Drake May, the lack of weapons in the wide receiver room, say what you want about Kyle Williams, looks potential. Just Stephon Diggs is getting older. Travion Henderson has a chance to like be a Kamara and almost lead this team in targets and receptions. They're using him. I don't know if you're seeing any of these videos from camp, but I mean, he is on wheel routes. He is all over the field catching the football. So Travion Henderson, I want on my team. Okay. 5th round. I'm taking him early 5th round. I don't care. I think this guy has probably the most upside out of any running back in that range. So to me, he's just a no-brainer. Like this guy is going to explode this year. and possibly be the new Kamara because Kamara's on his way out. So, but yeah, I just had to talk about TreVeyon Henderson. I'm glad we got a couple rookie running backs in there. So, what did you have anything on TreVeyon Henderson? I know you said you liked him.
No, I do. He just real quick, the other thing I like about him is he excels in the things that Ramondre Stevenson does not. He's a better pass protector. He's more explosive, and he's a better pass catcher. So that's just another plus.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens. I'm hearing there's a chance, early on we could see TreVeyon within the first couple weeks kind of take over the starting role. So excited to see that. Shane, who's your next my guy?
All right, now I'm going into my wide receiver 1 slot, and it's going to be a guy. I don't think people think of him as a sexy draft pick, but it's someone I think you should be targeting, and that's Courtland Sutton. I just think you look at when Bo Nix kind of started getting going, I think it was from weeks 8 to 18. He was averaging 18 PPR points a game. He had a huge target share in those games. I think I mentioned it on an earlier show. During that stretch, it was per game, he was only 0.3 points behind Justin Jefferson's output for those 10 games. So I think when I talk about checks the box, he checks the box. So he's the clear number 1 target monster, check. He's got a good quarterback, check. He's got a good offense, check. He scores touchdowns, check. He's shown he can put up wide receiver 1 numbers, check. So here's a guy I think you could draft as your 2 or your 3, where his ADP is, but he can perform as a wide receiver 1.
Oh, absolutely. We had Chase Brown as our first combo. Courtland Sutton's our second combo because Courtland Sutton is my guy as well, Shane. I think just if you've been watching the show throughout the offseason, we will be talking about players like this during our rankings episode. And this is one guy we both felt very passionately about. Courtland Sutton to me is one of the best wide receiver 3s you could possibly have on any roster, let alone a extremely solid wide receiver 2 option. And look, I mean, he's reliable. He's dependable. We know he's going to get those targets. He's not flashy. He's not going to have those explosive games with 170 receiving yards, but he's not going to need that. And when you're drafting early on in the draft and you want to take some risky picks, there's guys I like the next guy I'm going to talk about is pretty risky, but he's reliable. His risk rating is very low. So I love the Courtland Sutton take. I'm glad you got him. I'm glad someone got him. I was going to take him if you didn't, so good on you. But I want to talk about one more running back. This will be my 3rd running back I'm talking about, but I need to talk about him. And he is becoming one of my favorite first-round picks is Christian McCaffrey. I've been high on him all offseason. His ADP is pick 9 in the first round, and I'm just feeling risky this year. I'm feeling it. I think CMC, I'm buying in on him being healthy and ready to go to start the year. Look, we've seen what this guy is capable of. We've seen him do it year in and year out. And now the 49ers have less weapons on their team. Okay. CMC is ready to explode. I am still drafting Bijan, Gibbs, and possibly Saquon over him and Jamar Chase. But outside of that, I'm taking him over anybody else in the first round. So I just wanted to mention that I'm looking to leave if I don't have a top 4 pick, I'm taking Christian McCaffrey if he doesn't get taken before me.
Yeah, I'm starting to come around a little bit on it. I think it was a friend of the show, Dr. Jesse Morse, that he had said in the offseason that McCaffrey went and had some of the same stem cell treatment that George Kittle had last year that led to him having this great healthy season. So I'm kind of buying back in on the health risk there. Yeah,
look, his production, his probability of elite production outweighs his risk rating for me. You know what I mean? If he's out on the field and he's healthy, he's going to be scoring touchdowns. He's going to be catching the ball. He's going to be producing at an elite level. And that outweighs the injury bug, if you so to speak. So, all right, Shane, that's all the running backs I'm going to talk about in this episode. Who else do you have on your list? All right, I'm going to go to a wide receiver 2 in my lineup. And I'm going to stick with the same team, and that's going to be Ricky Pearsall. I just like everything that is lined up for him, and based off of production
from last year. So, like, if you look at those final 3 games he had last year where he was getting the starter reps and the snaps, he was averaging over 18 PPR points. I think he was getting like 8 targets a game. Now you look at opportunity, and the opportunity couldn't be any better. Like, Brandon Ayuk's probably not going to play for the first 4 to 6 weeks. You've got Juwan Jennings, who is battling an injury, who may or may not be ready for week 1. So he's set up to be probably the number 2 target person in that offense behind George Kittle. The 49ers have one of the easier schedules for the passing game this year. It sets up nicely for him. I just think he's a guy you can take in those middle to later rounds, early late rounds, as your wide receiver 3, maybe even 4, and he puts up a very high floor wide receiver 2 numbers.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, Shane. That is now our 3rd guy that we have.
Oh my gosh. I thought for sure that
duo.
one, I would have that one as a standalone.
No, dude, I am not leaving any draft without Ricky Pearsall. He's at that round where he's going. It's a no-brainer for me. Like, I think with the production that he's going to receive, the amount of opportunities he's going to receive in that offense, I'm all in on Ricky Pearsall. So I'm glad you got him. I would have taken him. That would be number 3 of our combo if anybody's keeping tally. Another wide receiver I have is close to home over here. It's Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze, he's kind of, his ADP is 81, so around 7. And look, he's the prime sophomore breakout candidate for wide receivers. We talk about wide receivers and going into their sophomore year, they tend to break out more than any other position. Everything about this offense has improved. I don't know if you watched the preseason game yesterday.
I did watch it.
We are recording this episode on Monday, August 18th.
I did watch
and yeah, that was pretty good, wouldn't you say?
That was pretty good. Yeah, based off of that, we should be talking about Olamide Zaccheaus more as a guy.
Of course. Now look, I'm talking about Rome Odunze. All I'd like to see from that preseason game, which was great to see, was number 1, the play calling, getting players open, and Caleb Williams feeling confident and decisive in the pocket. Right. That's what was intriguing to me. Who caught the ball is going to be changing all the time. It was great to see Colston Loveland. I'm going to be targeting him and trying to trade for him in every dynasty league I'm in. But we know that the ball is going to be spread around, right? We know that there's a ton of weapons in this offense. Luther Burden, Alameda Zaccheaus, Cole Kmet, Loveland, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze. But to me, what I see with Rome and his connection with Caleb and what he's able to do in this offense, I'm thinking very soon into this season, everybody's going to be wildly agreeing that Rome Odunze is the number 1 receiver on this team. I think he's going to be catching the most touchdowns. I think he's going to be the most targeted receiver on the team. And I'm looking to have him in round 7. I'm taking him over guys that he's being drafted behind, like Jerry Jeudy, Chris Olave, Jalen Waddle, Travis Hunter. Like, I really think Rome Odunze is going to make that jump this year. And by the end of the year this year, he's the number 1 receiver for the Bears. That's where I have him.
Yeah, and I think if I was in Dynasty, I'd be doing everything to get a hold of him, because I'm not sure we see DJ Moore back next year based off of some of the wide receiver moves and what they've got there already. So yeah, he's looking strong this season and for Dynasty.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So yeah, give me Rome Odunze all day, especially in that range too, round 7. I love where he's being drafted. So, Shane, do you have any other my guys?
I have 2 left, and I am almost 100% confident that these are guys that would not be showing up on your list. So
we'll see.
My last 2 are kind of more later round guys. I wanted to throw some later round guys in there for people that really try to pick something late that's going to pan out. In the first one I'm going, he's not as later as my last guy, but he's still someone to pick up later, and that's Jordan Mason.
Okay, I definitely don't have him.
Yeah, the theme, if you've been watching our shows, I have a little bit of practice of ageism as far as with guys in fantasy, and I'm going to apply that to Aaron Jones this year as someone that is on the wrong side of 30 with an injury history. I think two things can happen. Like if Aaron Jones gets hurt, I mean, Mason showed what he can do in a lead role when, over those first 4 weeks of last year, he was having like over 20 rush attempts a game. And I think he was around 18 PPR points a game in those contests. But I think even if Jones doesn't get hurt, I think I could see the Vikings maybe making this more of an even split than we thought to kind of preserve Aaron Jones' health throughout the year and towards the end of the year. So I think this could be a 50-50 split, and where Mason maybe gets more of the goal line work even.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, I see a lot of people talking about Jordan Mason. He looked really good on the 49ers last year. And Aaron Jones, he's just not the type of guy to carry the ball 300 times, right? Yeah. So I like where you're coming from there. I don't have him, okay? I would like to talk about some late round guys that are kind of honorable mentions for me that I'm targeting in every single late round of every draft. And they're guys you hear about if you're paying attention to this, the training camp information and preseason games. And but before I get into those, because they're honorable mentions, they're not necessarily my guys. I want you to finish with your last guy. Tell me who's the last guy on your list for your my guys for 2025.
My last guy, and you pick up, and I'm sliding in. If you do not want to waste a high, top 6 pick on a tight end, wait till the very end of your drafts and take this guy. You'll be very happy. And that's Chig Okonkwo for Tennessee. I think he is set up for a great year. Like you look at kind of like almost like how we applied it to Pearsall and Sutton, how they finished the season. Chig was the same way. So he it's like four of his last 5 games, he was 6 or more targets. From like weeks 12 to 17, he was finishing as a top 10 tight end, and that was with inferior quarterback play than what he's going to have this year, that he's going to have with Cam Ward. I think he will probably be the number 2 target in that offense in a lot of these games, behind Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say about Chig Okonkwo. You're probably going to be right. I just you know how I feel about Chig. I just can't really get behind that. I like Gunnar Helm, the backup from Texas. I think he had a pretty good preseason game last game, so we'll see how that works out. But yeah, all right. So I'm going to talk about some honorable mentions here. First one is wide receiver from the Las Vegas Raiders. Can you guess who it is, Shane?
Is it the rookie? Is he a rookie?
He's a rookie, yeah. But which rookie?
Oh, yeah. I'm blanking on his name. Not
Dante Thornton.
Yeah.
Thornton Jr.
Yeah.
Thornton Jr. This guy is 6'4".
Size, yeah.
Huge. He's been getting so much praise. He's being drafted right now as like wide receiver 74, which is just absolutely free in drafts. Look, you're at the end of drafts, you're throwing darts, right? I'm throwing a dart at this kid. I want him on all my teams. I really, really like what he's able to do with that offense and the amount of opportunities that could be there. Look, you got Jacoby Myers, and then you got another rookie, Jack Beck. You got Brock Bowers, obviously, but in the wide receiver room itself, there's some opportunity there for him to creep in early on. And Geno Smith throws one of the best deep balls in the NFL. So he has been over the last couple seasons. I think he continues that this year with Pete Carroll. So I'm excited to see what Thornton can do there. Another guy that I like is obviously Jaden Higgins. I think Jaden Higgins, everybody's been talking about him throughout camp. I'm looking to get Jaden Higgins in almost every draft. He's going as wide receiver 52, so a little bit higher, but still definitely on the low range. And the last guy from what team is that? The Chargers. Can you guess which name I'm going to talk about on the Chargers?
It's not going to be Trey Harris.
No, it's not.
It's going to be one of the 3 names.
Keandre Lambert-Smith. Look, so this is a theme with the guys I'm talking about. Dante Thornton, right? He was drafted after Jack Beck. Keandre Lambert-Smith was drafted after Trey Harris. Keandre Lambert-Smith is looking really good through camp. He's looking really good at the preseason games. some opportunity there. I know Keenan Allen just got re-signed there. I know they have QJ, and you got Trey Harris. So this one is a little bit difficult for him to kind of fit in a role this season. I liked him better when Keenan Allen wasn't signed to the team, but I still think there's some opportunity there as a little dart throw, maybe as a keeper league. In my keeper league, I'm looking to draft him. But these guys, I'm looking to target these wide receivers late in drafts because these are the guys that can explode and really give you value even towards the end of the season and so to speak. So those are my honorable mentions. Shane, did you have any that you wanted to talk about?
I think, there's just one guy. I was just thinking he was going to a pure dynasty pickup and stash, but after news we got over the weekend, I think he could be your last pick. Honorable mention stash, and that's Jakari Croskett Merritt. I think there's
what was that? What was that? JCM. Let's just keep it that way.
I don't know, like the trade rumors. If Brian Robinson Jr. really gets dealt, and then you're just looking at Austin Eckler as the only other back in that room. I don't know if it's you or Coles that has such a fandom for Chris Rodriguez, but I don't know if that's going to really be a thing. I think they love this kid. That was, he didn't play but one game last year, but before that he put up some monster stats. Just keep your eyes out in the next 10 days. If we get a Brian Robinson trade, that's someone you should probably draft at the end of your drafts.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought him up because he completely escaped my mind. But excuse me, he is someone I'm definitely keeping my eye on. He might be a mid-season pickup if you're in a deep league, draft him. But in your average league, he's not going to be getting drafted. But definitely a name to keep on your radar for the rest of the season. So I'm glad you brought him up. Anyway, Shane, speaking of Brian Robinson possibly getting traded, would you want him on the Cowboys?
I would not. I mean, it is basically like he would fit the profile of running backs they have in currently, like plotters that can't really do much. He'd fit the profile for sure, but no.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair enough. Well, anyway, my internet it seems to be a little shoddy right now. So we're going to wrap this up. Shane, any other comments that you've noticed, anything you've noticed in the football world through 2 weeks of the preseason games that you wanted to mention or Hard Knocks?
I don't, no. I just think the Bengals offense looked pretty incredible in the preseason. I think the Bears offense after last night is going to look pretty incredible. So there's going to be some value you can get in those. And I can't wait. We get college football this weekend.
Oh, do we? Who's playing?
Well, only the number 17 team in the nation, the Kansas State Wildcats, that are gonna be in Ireland playing the Iowa State Cyclones.
Okay, all right, we're gonna set up.
All right.
Well, thanks for watching. Check out the Kansas State Wildcats taking on the Iowa State Cyclones out in Ireland. That should be a good game to watch. I know Shane's going to be glued to his TV for that one. But other than that, thanks for joining. Thanks for watching. You guys are the best. Peep out. We're gonna try to put out another mock draft before this is over. We're putting out our final rankings. Our final rankings recap will be on Substack later on this week. So make sure you guys get the Substack, thefantasyroadshow.substack.com. Other than that, you guys are the best. We appreciate you tuning in and supporting the show. It really means a lot to us. We have full-time jobs and we do this on the side just because we love doing it. So we appreciate you guys joining in. Other than that, Shane, sign them out.
Hey, buckle up, folks.